topic of a respiration process. So this topic of a respiration process related to the chapter life process of a 10th class. So here we study what is life process. So this is a chapter name, and this chapter what is chapter 5. Okay, so here we read about what is respiration process. Okay, so here respiration process. So mainly respiration process carried out in plants and in what is animal and human. So that is we divide into two types. What is respiration process takes in plants, and second respiration process takes in human beings. Process takes place in human and animals. Okay, so here this is important process. So with the help of this process we produce energy. So that process create energy inside the body, and this energy we use in daily life activity like running and jumping and other activity like eating of a food. So this respiration process is important for the survival of a life. So this is process in a plants, and second what is process takes place in human and animals. So basically in plants, in respiration process, what oxygen takes and what carbon dioxide remove. So what is here? Take O2, that is what is oxygen, and remove or give out what is CO2. Here also in human, what is O2 taken by air, and what we produce CO2 produced. But in plant and in humans, different organs are found. So in humans especially, what are lungs are designed for taking oxygen from the atmosphere and remove carbon dioxide outside. But here they contain some tissue, and these tissue are used to what is taking oxygen and what is taking carbon dioxide and what is removing what oxygen. So here what is taking oxygen and removing carbon dioxide. So here basically in plants what is there are stomata are present in leaf, and in here what is lungs are present. So here with the help of lungs, okay, and that lungs contain what is small structure that is known as the functional unit of the lungs, that is known as the alveoli. So basically alveoli are the balloon like structure, and that is something elastic bag. So they are connected with a blood vessel. So what happens when we take oxygen from the outside, so this oxygen going in alveoli, and after going in alveoli it going to the blood vessels, and after that what happens this create a oxygen rich blood in the body, and this oxygen rich blood supplied to the different part of the body with the help of a heart. And in plant here what we take a different part or a different tissue, and here what main we use stomata. So here what is used stomata. So what is stomata? Stomata are the tiny pores present in the leaf. So with the help of these pores, we exchange the gases. So basically what is respiration process in plants and in what is animals and human. And this respiration process we can divide into two types, that is known as the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration. So what is respiration process divide into two parts. So first, what is aerobic respiration, and second, what is anaerobic Okay, so respiration divide into aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So here basically difference between the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration was aerobic respiration carried out in the presence of oxygen, carried out in presence of oxygen. Okay, and this word carried out in absence of oxygen. So you can write this process in the form of a word or a equation. So during in presence of oxygen, what they produce? They produce energy. So this energy is the main source. So what for the your muscles activity and daily activity? So this comes from the oxygen. And in some microorganisms like some bacteria, like yeast, so their respiration process takes place in absence of oxygen. So we can write here word equation. So what is word equation? Carried out in presence of oxygen. So you write that is food, and this food converted into a glucose. So what is the formula of a glucose? This is C6H12O6. So this is a formula of a glucose plus this react with a oxygen O2, and what they produce? They produce CO2 plus what they produce H2O plus energy. So here we write here energy. So this energy how much produced? 674 calories. Okay, so this is the aerobic respiration process, or we can say simply aerobic reactions. Aerobic respiration reaction. Food plus O2, that is food what that converted into a glucose, and when glucose react with the oxygen, what they form? They form what is CO2. What is the name of a CO2? Carbon dioxide. And what is this is water H2O and plus energy, and how much energy produced? 674 calories. So this process is known as the what is cellular respiration. What is cellular respiration? So here question is arise, why this respiration process known as cellular respiration? Because this respiration process takes place at cell. Where? So we can write takes place at cell level. So every cell get energy from this cellular respiration. So that is why this is known as the cellular respiration. So sometime examiner asks what is the difference between the cellular respiration and the breathing process. So breathing process is a physical process, and this cellular respiration, this is what is chemical reaction, or a chemical process. So in chemical process, large amount of energy release. But in breathing process, only we take what oxygen and remove carbon dioxide outside through the lungs. So that is physical process. So that is chemical reaction at the cell level. We does not count that. So that is why this is known as the what is chemical process. But here next anaerobic respiration, that is carried out in absence of oxygen. What is absence of oxygen? So we can write here example. So what we write, for example, this is absence of oxygen. So we can write C6H12O6. This is what is glucose. Okay, so this glucose carried out in absence of oxygen. What is in yeast? So this is what is microorganism, and what is absence of oxygen? Absence of oxygen. What they produce? Ethanol plus what is CO2, carbon dioxide plus energy. So how much energy produced? 28 calorie. So here see, this is what is glucose and this is what is yeast. So yeast is what is microorganism. Okay, so here what is microorganism? That is a small type of organism which cannot see in a microscope. So whose dimension is very less, maybe less than micrometer. So that is known as the microorganism. So this microorganism is carried out absence of oxygen. So what they form? Ethanol. So ethanol is other name also what is alcohol. So what is the formula of ethanol? C2H5OH. So what form? Ethanol form, CO2 form, carbon dioxide and energy. So here how much energy? 28 calorie energy produced. And here how much energy produced? 674 calorie energy produced. So if we compare between aerobic respiration and the anaerobic respiration, so in aerobic respiration, this process takes place in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic respiration, this takes place in absence of oxygen. Second, aerobic respiration takes place throughout the life, and anaerobic process takes place at a certain time or a certain organism. That is, we say that occasional. So anaerobic process, what is occasional process? And third point, we can write how much amount of energy produced in aerobic? 674 calorie. And how much energy produced in anaerobic? That is 28 calorie. And these are the 3 points. And 4 point you can write. You write these equations and these equations. So at least we can write 4 or 5 points of this differentiate between the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration. Okay, so in a previous slide I tell you that is respiration process takes place in plant and in human. So so here we define, next slide, what respiration process in human beings and respiration process in plant. So for example, we write here, we make here line. Okay, so this is what is respiration process in plants, and here we write respiration process in human. So basically in both process what we take oxygen. So animal and the human also take oxygen, and respiration process in plant also take oxygen. So for example, we make a structure of a plant. So this is a plant. Okay, so this is a plant. So plant contain many small stomata. So what is these are contain small stomata. So we can make from different color. So we can understand easily. So what is these are small what is stomata presents. Okay, so what is these stomata? These stomata are known as the tiny pores. What is tiny pores? So what is the function of these tiny pores? To exchange the gas. What is exchange gases? Okay, so what happened? So here this stomata take what is oxygen O2 from the atmosphere, and what they remove? They remove what is CO2. So this is known as the respiration process. If you make if diagram of that stomata at a large scale, so you get how the stomata structure look. So when you see in a microscope, so what type of a structure you see stomata? So these are the structure of a stomata like this. So this is known as the stomata, and this is what is known as the guard cell, and this is known as the what is chlorophyll. Okay, so this is what is space, that is known as the pores. So what is here? This contain a guard cell, chlorophyll, and these are the pores, and these what is this structure is known as the stomata. So here we what they take what is O2, and they also remove what is CO2. So here question is arise. This is a stomata, part of the lip. So how these stomata are open and closed? So these stomata are open when water pressure increase. So due to the water pressure, these guard cells are swell. So due to the swelling, this increase the space within the cells, and that is why these are open. So this is known as the what is osmosis process. So what is known as osmosis. So that osmosis what is water pressure. What is water pressure? So due to the osmosis pressure, these cells are open, and due to open, they exchange the gas. And simply what happen when water pressure decrease, so these cells are shrink, and due to the shrinkage of the cells, these pores are closed. So this is the function how plants take oxygen and how they remove carbon dioxide from the pores. But in case of the respiration process in plants, in humans, so first of all, they take oxygen from mouth. So we make here. So we can make here by erasing this. So, so this is known as what is mouth, and this is what is nose, and this nose known as the what is nasal cavity. What is nasal cavity? Okay. So here this nasal cavity what consists? Nasal cavity consists hair and mucus. So here what is the function of a hair and mucus? They stop the dust particle inside the windpipe. So they protect from the dust particle. So what present here? Nasal cavity contain hair and plus mucus. So what is the function of that? They protect from dust particles. What is dust particles? So initially this system nasal cavity what is acts as a filter. What is this is act as a filter. Okay. So after that this oxygen O2 moving in the windpipe. So this is known as the what is windpipe. Okay, and this windpipe pass the oxygen toward downside, and here what is here consists what is this part. So this contains what is larynx. So what is larynx? Basically larynx is a what is voice box. So this voice box contain muscles. So that muscles create volume. So when these muscles are vibrate, they produce sound. So this box known as the voice box or a larynx. And after that, this known as what is trachea. So this is known as the trachea, and trachea consists of what is ring of a cartilage. Ring of cartilage. So what is the function of a ring of cartilage here? When we take oxygen or air, so this avoid to collapse of the tubes. So sometime what happen if there are no ring of cartilage, what happen? There are the chances of the collapse of the tube. And further, this going in downward. So this going in downward, what they contain? So these are known as the bronchi. So these trachea or a windpipe divided into two parts. That two parts known as the bronchi. So rest of part we make here. So trachea, this is known as the bronchi, and after bronchi, these divided into what is smaller part bronchilage. So there are many branches. So these are known as what is bronchially. Okay, and these bronchially further extend what is balloon-like structure. That balloon-like structure known as the alveoli. And these consist what is blood vessels, and these also connected with different blood vessels, and capillaries. So what happen when we take oxygen from the outside, from air? So this oxygen taken by the nasal cavity. So when oxygen taken by the nasal cavity, what happen? This air is purified by the nose. So nasal cavity contain hair and the mucus. So mucus is a transparent or a white color fluid that present in nasal cavity. So that stop the entry of the dust particles. So here primary function of the nasal cavity was to filter the air. So after filter the air, this air pass through the larynx and the pharynx. So this is a voice box. So that creates sound. And after that, what this pass through the trachea. So trachea contain what is ring of cartilage. So what is the primary function of ring of cartilage? To avoid the collapse of the tube. And after this oxygen pass here what is bronchi. Okay, so this pass to the bronchi, and here this comes. So here oxygen come, and these alveoli contain what is capillaries, small capillaries. So here we write 9. This is what is a alveoli. So these are known as the alveoli. So this oxygen comes from the alveoli. So this oxygen are absorbed by the blood vessel. So in blood vessels, so what present here? Small pigments present. These small what is pigments, that is what is known as the hemoglobin. So this is important part of the blood. So what is the primary function of a hemoglobin? To capture the oxygen from the lungs. So here this take oxygen from the, so this oxygen going where? Here. Okay, so first step, that is known as the inhalation. What is inhalation process? Oxygen gained by the alveoli, and this oxygen supplied to the blood vessel. So what happen? So oxygen comes in lungs in the form of air. So in the form of air or in the form of a gases. But when it comes here in balloons, that balloons known as what is alveoli. So here it pass to the blood vessels, and in blood vessels what happen? This oxygen mix into the blood in the form of a liquid. So here what type of blood contain? Oxygenated blood. What is oxygen generated blood? So this blood known as blood contain oxygen. Okay, that is known as the oxygenated blood. Okay, so this oxygenated blood are supplied to the different part of the body with the help of a heart. So here heart act as a pumping machine, so that transport blood to the different part of the body. But at the same time, what happen? Carbon dioxide comes from the different part because respiration process takes place, and we already know when respiration process takes place. So what happen? Carbon dioxide produced, so this carbon dioxide mixed in the blood, that is known as the impure blood, and second name of that is what is deoxygenated blood. So this deoxygenated blood we need to purify again. So this deoxygenated blood sent to the lungs. So here what happened? So here CO2 rich blood comes. Okay. So this is CO2 rich blood some in the blood vessels, and here what happened? This drop here CO2, like they drop CO2 here, they drop CO2 here, and they drop CO2 in alveoli. So here in blood vessels, this contain a liquid form blood, and that contain liquid carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide give in the alveoli in the form of a gases. And what happen? This CO2 going outside. So what happened? This CO2 remove outside. So this is known as the complete respiration process in human. So here important roles of what is alveoli, and second what is blood vessels. So alveoli what they taken oxygen from the air and send to oxygen to the blood vessels, and here what is important? Hemoglobin. So hemoglobins are component of the blood that absorb oxygen from the alveoli and send to the rest part of the body. And after what happen? Respiration process takes place, and again what happen? Carbon dioxide generate, and these carbon dioxides drop here in alveoli and send to outside. So this is what is respiration process. So this is known as the cellular respiration. What is cellular respiration? Because this takes place at each part of the body. So that is why we call this is a cellular respiration process. And this is the structure how the air going and what type of the step taken by this process. So this is what is respiration process in a human. So, in simply, we can also summarize in the form of a small boxes or a small flow chart. So, what happened? So, first of all, what is O2? So, O2 taken by what is? That is O2 going where alveoli. Okay. So, in alveoli, O2 what is in gas form? Okay. So, this alveoli sent to what is blood vessels. So this is blood vessels. So here what is going O2? That O2 rich blood. So we call O2 rich blood. Okay. This O2 rich blood supply to the different part of the body. That is O2 rich blood, that is known as the oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood, or sometimes we say this is a pure blood. So these are supply different part of the body. Different parts of body. So here who supply heart. This CO2 produced where comes in again in blood vessels. So this CO2 produced where comes in CO2 produced where comes in blood vessels. So this is known as what is deoxygenated blood, or that is known as the impure blood. impure blood. So this comes here. So again here comes. So what they do? They drop CO2 here. So they drop CO2 here. So blood vessels drop CO2 in alveolage. Okay. So this CO2 remove outside. CO2 remove outside by nasal cavity. Nasal cavity. Okay. So this is the flow chart of a respiration process. So taking oxygen, it's going to the alveolage. Alveolage is the balloon-like structure, and this balloon-like structure pass oxygen to the blood vessels, and after this oxygen going where heart. So this oxygen rich supply to the all part of the body, and what happen? Respiration process takes place, and respiration process takes place. What produce? Carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide mix in a blood, and that produce what is deoxygenated blood, and that is known as the impure blood. So again what happen? This blood comes here in blood vessels, and they drop CO2 here and taken oxygen. So this is process of what is respiration process. So what is the role of here? Hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is a pigment material that capture the oxygen, and when they take oxygen, then color of the blood is red, and when deficiency of the oxygen takes place, what is the meaning of a deficiency? Means increasing the concentration of a carbon dioxide. So what happen? Then color of the blood is becomes blue. So this is known as the respiration process in human. Thank you very much.